So today I want to talk about multiplying and dividing fractions. All right, so let's review. Let's start with this problem. So if you're multiplying fractions, you want to multiply straight across. So numerator times the numerator, denominator times the denominator. Multiplying fractions is very easy. So 2 times 1 is 2. Is 2. And 3 times 6 is 18. Now we need to reduce that and we're done. So 2 divided by 2, we're going to reduce it by dividing each number by 2. 2 divided by 2 equals 1. And 18 divided by 2 is 9. So our answer is 1/9. All right, so let's try another problem. This time we have, we're going to multiply mixed numbers. So before you can multiply mixed numbers, if they're fractions, you need to change the mixed number into an improper fraction. So we need to do that for both. So we are going to go do around the world. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. So we have 11. This is not working for me. 11/3 times, now we're going to do around the world for this. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And put it over the denominator. So we have, 5 halves. So now we are going to just multiply straight across. 11 times 5 is 55. And 3 times 2 is, is 6. All right, so now we just have to change it back to a mixed number. So how many times does 6 go into 55? So let's see, 6 times 10 is 60. That's too much. So 6 times 9 is 54, if you remember your multiplication pack. So 6 goes into 55 9 times. So that would equal 9 wholes. So 6 times 9 is 54. We have 1 left over. So 9 and 1 over 6. And that would be our answer. All right, so let's move on to division. So dividing fractions. So let's work with this problem. Let me get it a little bit bigger. All right, 1/3 divided by 3/4. I guess first I should say, let's go over keep, change, flip. Because when you're multiplying, you need to keep the first number as is, change division to multiplication. So keep, change to multiplication, and then flip this fraction. All right, so let's, we will keep that in mind as we work on these problems. I'll put this right back down here, and let's solve this problem. All right, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so I can, and maybe write a little bit. Okay, so 1/3 times 3/4. So we are going to first, since it's division, we're going to do keep, change, and flip. So we are going to keep the first fraction as 1/3, change the division sign to multiplication, and flip the last fraction. So 3/4, if I flip it, I have 4/3. Now I just multiply as with our multiplication rule. So 1, we multiply, straight across. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. And we actually can't reduce that any further. So that is our answer, 4/9. All right, so let's go to our next example. Let me make this small. Bring this back down. Let's bring this example up. All right, so now this time one of our fractions is a mixed number. So we first need to change it either when we're multiplying or dividing with fractions. You need to work with improper fractions. So I need to change this mixed number to an improper fraction before I either multiply or divide. And here we're going to divide, but I'm going to change it to an improper fraction. So 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So that is 5 over the denominator of 4. 5/4. So I'm going to do keep this, change, flip. So now I'm going to change that to multiplication and flip my last fraction. So that would be 5 halves. So now I can solve. 5 times 5 is 25. 4 times 2 is 8. So now I have to reduce it back to a mixed number. So 8 goes into 25. 8 goes into 25. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. So that gets us as close as we can get. So 8 times 3 gets us to 24. And since it's 25, we have the 1 left over, and we put that over this denominator. So our answer is 3 1/8. All right, so next problem, let's make this small, put this down here. Last problem we're going to go over. If you are multiplying or dividing with a fraction and a whole number, you should change the whole number into a fraction. And that's very easy by putting any whole number over 1. So 3/1. So all right, so first we are going to change the mixed number into an improper fraction. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1. 2 times 3, 6 plus 1 is 7 over the denominator of 3. So keep this fraction. We're going to change this to multiplication because we're dividing fractions. And then we're going to flip this, but it's a whole number, and we know the whole number is really 3/1 because we can put any whole number, turn it into a fraction by saying 3, put it over 1. So now we're going to flip that whole number, flip 3/1 to 1/3. All right, and now we're going to just multiply straight across, the numerator times the numerator, denominator times the denominator. So 7 times 1 is 7, 3 times 3 is 9, and that is our answer, 7/9. We cannot reduce that any further. So key thing to remember, if you are multiplying or dividing with a mixed number, you need to change it into an improper fraction first before you multiply or divide. And if you are dividing or multiplying by a whole number, just put that whole number over 1. And you can complete your problem. Okay, thanks.